Hi, everyone. This is Debbie Lynn Molyneux, and thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this briefing for first quarter of 2024, post-pilot project and getting ready for phase two. AmericanFuture.us, in case you don't know, is an 8-question interview to help individuals identify the future for themselves that doesn't suck. And it's a missing piece from American academia, et cetera, that is considering broad scale narratives, but has not been, but everyday Americans have not been included in that analysis. So where we are right now as we enter 2024 is, we really are hearing cries that this year, this election year, could see the end of democracy as we know it. And we have incidents in states where they're refusing to follow regulations from the EPA or the Supreme Court. And there are really a lot of fears of authoritarianism around on some of our through some of our media landscape, and institutions are continuing to lose trust. And so this is really important and critical because we, the people, are the ones who actually are letting go of what was, but we don't yet know what we're grabbing onto. So, American Future, as it was designed, is really for people who are angry, who are afraid, who feel hopeless or resigned about where the United States is headed. And they may have, as a result of this, tuned out of their civic life, and they're like, I can't have an impact or influence into my world around me. So instead, I'm just going to take care of myself. However, if with a little bit of hope, these folks are also willing to spend time thinking about what they want for themselves. So as we get into this project, we do have an American can-do spirit, but a lot of folks, as I've noted in the previous slide, have opted out. They're looking for escapism stories. Uh, those around us may have a good life, but we see the opportunities are diminishing for other folks. Or maybe we don't have a good life and our opportunities have slid or been reduced. And then we know a lot of people, all of us know a lot of people who are suffering from chronic conditions or other health challenges right now. And then, of course, we're watching the extreme weather events increase. This is all leading us to this dystopian narrative that dominates our landscape right now, where we need a vision, a future vision to envision. Pause. Let's try that one again. We Americans need to imagine and really believe in a future that doesn't suck for ourselves and makes it worth wading through the hardship that we know is out there. So, hi, I'm Debbie Lynn again. I am a social change agent. I have co founded and landed many big ideas in the national space. Most recently, the Bridge Alliance, which is a coalition of about 600 organizations to protect and strengthen the Democratic Republic of the United States. And I have some history in both running for public office, owning a small marketing firm, and also an automotive repair shop. You can find more about me on LinkedIn. So we are in the midst of these multiple various end time stories. You can really pick your favorite. And underneath all of them, though, is this fundamental crisis of imagination. Neuroscience is really coming through right now with some fabulous research that's showing that spending as little as 5 minutes a day thinking about our possible future with awe and wonder really is a path forward to how we might imagine our way into a better future. So we have some ideas about that. That's part of what this whole project is about. And to experiment to see, like, is this really going to work for us? We conducted a coffee shop tour in November of 2023, and we conducted 35 interviews. The participants ranged from 16 to 75 years old. They lived all over the country because we were driving from Maryland to California and back. They are Black, white, and Hispanic in this small group. We're still missing some Asian folks. We'll get them in the subsequent phases. They were from multiple faith communities, politically mixed, and also socioeconomically mixed. And we do have a formal report in process. So people actually do know what they want for themselves. This was one of our findings. Every participant, and I mean 100% of the people we've interviewed, have expressed a desire for deeper connections with their family and friends and colleagues. They all want a sense of community where they can be themselves and still belong. And they're looking for a way to contribute back to the people around them and to their community as a whole. So they know what they want, and they need more information or more connections, more community, more contribution opportunities in order to be fulfilled in their future, in their preferred future. So we discovered a lot of solopreneurs in our initial pilot group. And what was missing for them to actually have impact in their communities has been, how do they work with others? Or how do others work with them? So we have a lot of solopreneurs right now in that have been interviewed that really need to learn or relearn how to work together. So here's what we learned from phase one for the project itself. The thesis that we have that we have shared common desires is proving out. The participants are really eager to have their stories published, which I find fascinating. And a handful of the participants have actually evolved their future story from their initial interview in October or November. We've identified that affinity groups, so this would be faith communities or families or book clubs or social service clubs, et cetera, actually need the interview that we've developed now rather than in phase four, which we had initially thought it would be in phase four in 2025. So we're moving that interview format development into phase two for pre-election use. We also learned that hanging out in coffee shops is really uncomfortable, not just for me, the interviewer, but also for the coffee shops themselves, for the people in the coffee shop who didn't know what the hell was going on. And what did work, though, which was better, was to spend a day or two in a city with a host sponsor, if you will, who would offer referrals and help us meet with folks that they knew within their network. So, and then the last thing that we learned from phase one really is that the interviews themselves are great fun. I have so much fun talking with folks. But then after the interview, there's 3 to 4 hours of work to both publish the interview and connect it to the larger research. And so it's really hard to make time for that additional 3 to 4 hours after each 45-minute interview. So we're looking for ways to automate and use interns, et cetera, to make that a little bit easier. So what's next, you ask? Well, in phase two, we are looking to finalize and create what I'm calling the interview, the 8-question format, so that it's in a downloadable and shareable format. Not everyone has to be interviewed by me, but they can interview themselves. They can interview friends and family. It actually is a great discussion topic. One of my early interviews used it for walks with her husband in the afternoon. So they went through the questions again together. And then we want to offer multiple ways that people can actually input their future vision into the research database. So this needs to have ways to include videos and audio files and written materials. And then the next thing that's coming up in phase two is expanding the research pool to include, 2,000 or more people. And we're already talking with folks in both Pennsylvania and Florida about doing some place-based groups where people have some one-on-one interviews and then they talk about it in small groups to find out what they have in common and what their community needs to provide for them for their futures to be possible. And the other thing in phase two is this affinity group outreach. So we look forward to getting in touch with more groups. Identifying partners for phase two is also up next. So the most impactful partners that I really want to work with for 2024 are in the 15 to 35 counties or districts that are most at risk for election interference or political violence. And we've identified, I have 15 of those already, so we're looking to identify where those others are. We are looking in this partners phase for how do we connect the grassroots narrative that we're developing in this research to be included in the academic and issue-based work for Future Dreams, so that the voice of the people is actually a part of or adjacent to the funded work. And then lastly, in our partners, I have a lot of connections with the Bridging and Reform organizations. To the extent that they have capacity and interest, we're looking to partner with the existing network of folks. Also in phase 2, we need to set up the research database itself. This is a really heavy lift. I have a volunteer who's helping me with it right now. This is for both to the input of it. So like, how do we get the information into the database, which is the story collection portal. And then the second is the analysis data, or dashboard, excuse me, the analysis dashboard, so that researchers or storytellers or artists who want to use the data for telling a better story about our future can access the data that's in the database. So that's the research database and what needs to happen. And then we need to share these stories widely. Volunteers right now are onboarded, just had a call with one of them today, to create social media content from the website and how to share people's stories. The Terrified Nation podcast is another approach where we're using the interview, but we're approaching people who might be more fear-based or fear-motivated to make a change, whereas American Future is much more aspirational motivated. Additional needs right now to help share these stories widely. I need an interview scheduler right now, because A-list people aren't going to use my Calendly link to schedule their interview. We need to actually do some personal outreach. We need referrals to narrative organizations. So anybody that you know that works for any big group that's working on national narratives or local narratives, and then research database funding. These are things that will help us grow into phase 2. And just a reminder, there are 5 phases total, and we are currently in phase 2 of 5. Phase 3 will be post-election through March, and that's kind of the narrative sense-making and crafting, developing a documentary script, and then secure some funding for that and perhaps draft a book outline. Phase 4 will be the community building, and then continuing with the documentary production and the book writing. And then phase 5, the final phase, where we're headed with all of this, is really want to get connected with the America 250 project. This is the committee authorized by Congress right now to lead the 250th celebration of our nation in 2026. So just a kind of a brief overview of our future partnership needs as we go along. We've gone over extensively in phase 2 what we need right now. Phase 3 for post-election, we really need a lot of storytellers and writers and showrunners. Phase 4, we're going to need community weavers and conveners and connection to the A250 organizers, the America 250. And then phase 5, we're going to need an event coordinator, because I think we should have a big launch event. We're going to need some media. We're going to need a publicist, all of those things to actually complete this project at the America 250 celebration. Thank you so much for listening to the whole thing. Please be in touch. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Soon to be coming will be YouTube. And we look forward to building a better future with you.